Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Pakistan, Afghanistan extend ceasefire as Doha talks set to begin. Earlier, Pakistan airstrike killing 10, including 3 local Afghan cricketers. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Uttar Pradesh CM Yogi Adityanath flag off first batch of BrahMos missiles manufactured by Lucknow unit. US President Trump tells Ukrainian President Zelensky to make a deal with Russia as Kyiv's push for Tomahawk missiles misfires. Trump pursues diplomatic solution to end the conflict. In badminton, men's doubles pair of Satwik-Chirag, Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty enter semi-finals of Denmark Open. Pakistan and Afghanistan have decided to extend ceasefire as Doha talks set to begin. Earlier, in Afghanistan, at least 10 civilians were killed and a dozen more were injured last night after Pakistan launched airstrike on border province of Paktika, breaking a ceasefire that had brought 2 days of calm to the border. The 48-hour truce paused nearly a week of border clashes that killed dozens of troops and civilians on both sides. Among the dead include at least 3 local cricket players. The killing of the 3 cricketers prompted Afghanistan to pull out of a tri-nation series with Pakistan and Sri Lanka scheduled for next month. Afghanistan's cricket board in a social media post said the players had travelled to Paktika province to take part in a friendly match. Qatar, which along with Saudi Arabia had pushed both sides to halt hostilities, offered to host their meeting in Doha. Reports from Afghanistan suggest that the Taliban delegation would include Defence Minister Mullah Yaqub Mujahid and Intelligence Chief Mullah Wasiq. Pakistan's Foreign Office stayed in fact silent on the matter, but late evening meeting between National Security Advisor and ISI Chief Lieutenant General Asim Malik and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar suggested that General Malik may travel to Doha. The Court of Appeals in Belgium's Antwerp has issued a preliminary judgment allowing the extradition of fugitive businessman Mehul Choksi to India. The case was filed by India's investigative agency, Central Bureau of Investigation. The court rejected Choksi's appeal against extradition, marking the first legal success for Indian authorities in their ongoing efforts to bring him back to face trial. Choksi now has 15 days to challenge the ruling before the Belgian Supreme Court. Choksi was provisionally arrested on 11th of April 2025 in Antwerp following India's extradition request and has remained in custody at Antwerp prison since his arrest. Several bail applications filed by him over the past months have been dismissed. The CBI has charged the fugitive businessman with 6,400 crore Indian rupees bank fraud case. The latest judgment is seen as a significant step forward in India's extradition proceedings against him. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Saturday flagged off the first batch of BrahMos missiles at the BrahMos Aerospace Production Unit in Uttar Pradesh's Lucknow under Atmanirbhar Bharat mission. Rajnath Singh was accompanied by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. This comes months after Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that BrahMos missiles will now be manufactured in Lucknow. The Lucknow BrahMos unit is the first facility in the Uttar Pradesh Defence Corridor where the entire process from missile system manufacturing to final testing is carried out indigenously. This unit is built at a cost of 300 crore rupees spread across 80 hectares. During the ceremony, the Defence Minister and Chief Minister also inaugurated booster building and witnessed a demonstration of the booster docking process. Presentations on the airframe and avionics systems, pre-dispatch inspection in the warhead buildings and the BrahMos simulator were also shown at the event. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky came to the White House on Friday seeking weapons to keep fighting Russia, but met an American president who appears inclined towards peace deal than ramping up Ukraine's arsenal. After talking to Zelensky for over 2 hours, President Trump called upon both Ukraine and Russia to immediately end the conflict, even if it means Ukraine giving up territory. Trump's move to re-engage with Putin has frustrated Zelensky and some European allies in the past. It has cast a shadow on Trump's otherwise cordial exchange with his Ukrainian counterpart.
Let's see what happens. I mean, you know, what if? I think he will. I think that President Putin wants to end the war, or I wouldn't be talking this way. I think he wants to end the war. I spoke to him yesterday for 2.5 hours. We went through a lot of details. He wants to get it ended. I think that President Zelensky wants to get it ended. Now we have to get it done.
While US President did not rule out giving the long-range Tomahawk missiles as sought by Zelensky, Trump did appear cool to the prospect as he looked forward to a meeting with Putin in Hungary in the coming weeks.
Very dangerous weapons. They're incredible weapons. If you like warfare, it's one of the most accurate. You know, we hit 30 Tomahawks in Iran after the B-2s did their damage. We sort of gave it a little capper with 30 Tomahawks from a submarine, quite far away actually, but they're an amazing weapon. They're a very powerful weapon, but they're a very dangerous weapon.
Trump's friendly tone after talking to Putin raised doubts about more US help for Ukraine and worried Europe about a deal favoring Russia. Zelensky later spoke with European leaders, saying he trusts Trump's efforts to end the conflict. The EU said it supports any talks that could lead to peace. Outside the White House, Zelensky called his meeting with Trump productive and said they discussed security guarantees.
We trust President that he wants to finish this war, and it's difficult. It's very tough solution. It's understandable why. I think that Russians afraid about Tomahawks, really afraid, because it's a strong weapon, and they know what we have, what kind of weapon we have, our production, and they understand that combination with Tomahawks, because we speak about it. We don't speak about Tomahawks like Tomahawks. We need combination, and that's why they're afraid of this combination. They understand what we can do.
Moving on to updates from West Asia, the night sky over the Gaza border was briefly illuminated by 2 flashes of light, followed by booms on Saturday morning amid a ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel. Though fighting has largely stopped in Gaza under US President Donald Trump's plan, endorsed by mediators Egypt, Qatar and Turkey. On Friday, Hamas called on mediators to push for the next steps under the ceasefire, including reopening the border, letting in aid, beginning reconstruction, setting up an administration and completing Israel's withdrawal. Meanwhile, a convoy carrying the remains of a deceased hostage returned by Hamas arrived at the National Center of Forensic Medicine in Tel Aviv on Saturday morning. Earlier, Israel said that the Red Cross had handed over the body of another deceased hostage from Gaza to Israel's military amid a dispute over delays in the return of remains under the ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel. This week, Hamas has returned 9 of the 28 deceased hostages that were still in Gaza. This will be the 10th if forensic testing confirms the identity of the remains matches those of a hostage. A UAE humanitarian ship has departed for Gaza carrying 7,200 tons of aid under Operation Chivalrous Night 3. The shipment includes 4,680 tons of food, 2,160 tons of shelter items like tents and winter clothing, and 360 tons of medical supplies with additional 4 water tanks. The relief effort has been directed by the President of UAE with aim to ease the suffering of the people in Gaza Strip. UAE charities and aid groups too have come together to deliver urgent support, reinforcing the nation's values of solidarity and swift response. The United States remains shut down for the 17th consecutive day. In the recent development, the Trump administration by Monday will furlough about 1,400 workers at the agency that manages the U.S. nuclear weapons arsenal due to the government shutdown. Nearly 400 workers would remain at the National Nuclear Security Administration, or NNSA. Energy Secretary Chris Wright have warned that there could be tens of thousands of layoffs of contractors, along with furloughs of staff workers due to the shutdown. Trump administration freezes another $11 billion in infrastructure spending. Trump administration has already frozen at least $28 billion for transportation and energy projects in Democratic-controlled cities and states. The U.S. federal court system starting on Monday will also begin curtailing non-essential functions and furloughing some employees due to the government shutdown. The announcement, detailed in a Thursday, means the federal judiciary will, for the first time in nearly 3 decades, be forced to send some of its 30,000 employees home and require others to work without a paycheck after Congress failed to pass legislation keeping the courts and the rest of the government funded. As the U.S. government shutdown drags into its third week, White House Budget Director Russell Mott announced Friday the freezing of $11 billion in Army Corps of Engineers projects across Democratic strongholds, potentially leading to cancellations. Targeted sites include New York's $7 billion in water systems, San Francisco's waterfront park, Boston harbors, and Baltimore ports, plus $600 million for Massachusetts' Aegean Cape Cod bridges. And this escalates prior $28 billion cuts in blue areas, with Office of Management and Budget citing sanctuary jurisdictions resisting immigration policies. Trump aims to reprioritize funding, vowing to slash Democrat agencies and 4,100 jobs. Democrats decried it as political sabotage. California governor blasted Trump for weaponizing the shutdown, endangering levees. Massachusetts governor insisted her bridge project proceeds via bipartisan funds, denying federal notice. Thousands across the U.S. are about to join No Kings protests happening this Saturday, opposing President Donald Trump's leadership amid an ongoing government shutdown. With over 2,700 rallies planned nationwide, organizers claim it to be the largest mobilization since Trump assumed office. Beyond New York and San Francisco, protests feature not only major cities like Washington, Boston, Chicago, Atlanta, and New Orleans, but also small towns across all 50 states. The No Kings movement is even organizing events in Canada. The protests aim to challenge what they see as authoritarian moves, including crackdowns on free speech and aggressive immigration raids. On the other hand, Republicans have labeled the events as Hate America rallies. The ongoing government shutdown, now in its third week, has halted federal services and intensified tensions between the executive branch, Congress, and the courts. U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday commuted more than 7-year prison sentence of former U.S. Representative George Santos. Santos was convicted of fraud and identity theft. Trump on Truth Social described Santos as somewhat of a rogue, but argued that many others accused of similar crimes across the country do not face such lengthy prison terms. Acting on this view, Trump signed the commutation order, paving the way for Santos's immediate freedom. Santos, who was convicted of fraud and identity theft, said pleading guilty was a difficult but necessary step, expressing deep regret and taking full responsibility for his actions.
Pleading guilty is a step I never imagined I'd take. But it is a necessary one because it is the right thing to do. It's not only a recognition of my misrepresentation to others, but more profoundly, it is my own recognition of the lies I told myself over these past years. It is the confirmation with these truths that have flooded me with deep regret for the choices I made. I'm taking responsibility because I have to. There's no other way around. To my family, friends, and support, the people of New York's 3rd Congressional District, I offer my deepest apology.
And still to come on DD India Live. Assam observes Kati Bihu, a festival of prayer, simplicity and strength. Coming up, the spirit of Kongali Bihu.
There's so many invaluable artifacts that the British have taken from our country. They robbed us of our self-respect. They robbed us of our honor. Loot was never innocent. It was painful.
The word loot, that was stolen from India too.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. In a historic achievement, the University of Ladakh's Kargil campus has extracted buckwheat honey for the first time. This marks a significant step for sustainable agriculture and premium honey production in the region. Bee colonies were introduced to coincide with the flowering periods, resulting in high-quality honey with a unique aroma. The Vice-Chancellor praised the team and announced plans to expand apiculture, including branding and GI tagging for Kargil buckwheat honey. The initiative highlights Ladakh's potential for sustainable farming and rural development. India is glowing once again, not just with the lights of Diwali, but with the sparkle of commerce, color and celebration. As the festival season sets in, markets are buzzing, gold is gleaming and shoppers are out there in full force to add zing to their lives. Our correspondent Ayushi Ahuja has a report.
Every year, as autumn settles over India, the country bursts into spectacular blaze of light, color and commerce. It's that time of the year again when streets turn into marketplaces of joy, gold shines brighter than ever and people shop their heart out. Diwali isn't just a festival of lights. It's a season of business and trade activities as people indulge in shopping and brighten their lives up.
Diwali, India's festival of lights, symbolizes the victory of good over evil and light over darkness. But it also marks the brightest time of India's economy. As the festival nears, markets across the country come alive, buzzing with shoppers eager to bring home prosperity, beauty and joy. At the heart of this glitter lies gold, a symbol of wealth, purity and divine blessings. Buying gold during Diwali is believed to invite prosperity, especially on Dhanteras, a day dedicated to wealth and well-being. But this year, the sparkle comes at a cost, with gold prices soaring to record highs.
I am here at a famous jewelry shop in New Delhi, where every Diwali, the sparkle of gold attracts thousands of customers. But this year, the shine is slightly dimmer as the gold prices are skyrocketing.
गोल्ड का रेट इतना पहले तो जंप हुआ, हमें तो लगा था कि शायद थोड़ा सा काम में कुछ फ़र्क आएगा इस चीज़ का, लेकिन हमारे भारतीय लोगों ने, इंडियंस ने साबित कर दिया कि गोल्ड वो हर रेट में खरीदने वाले हैं। जैसे लास्ट टाइम गोल्ड रेट जो 80,000 था वो 130 यानी 50,000 रुपीज़ का एक साल में जंप आना, तो बहुत बड़ा उछाल है, लेकिन ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, लोग खूब शॉपिंग कर रहे हैं।
The prices are high, but the sentiment remains upbeat. People may buy less, but they won't skip the tradition of buying the yellow metal, which is an integral part of Diwali's ritual. Not just gold, Diwali marks a full-blown shopping spree across India, with households upgrading everything from electronic items to cars in a festive wave of spending. Also, with the government extending tax reliefs, especially on goods and service sectors, the shopping mania seems to have doubled. From jewelry to fashion, Diwali is the time Indians redefine their wardrobes. Clothing sales have surged across cities. Ethnic wear, especially in bright colors and silk, is flying over the shelves. From high-end malls to local bazaars, the festival fashion fever has gripped India.
This is my favorite festival because everything around you gets so pretty lit up. even the dullest of streets, they light up, and the favorite part is sweets, obviously.
Home decors too are witnessing a renaissance. From handcrafted diyas to eco-friendly lanterns and scented candles, everything that adds sparkle to a home is in high demand. Even small vendors like garland sellers and rangoli artists say Diwali brings them their biggest business of the year.
The festival is an explosion of colors and commerce. Every lane is alive. From sweet shops to electronic stores, from decorative stores to tailors. Everyone has a reason to smile this season. The Diwali economy, worth billions of dollars, runs on a collective joy, a reminder that commerce and culture go hand in hand. Here's wishing you all a very happy Diwali. I am Ayushi Ahuja with camera person Rahul Chopra reporting for DD India.
Dhanteras celebrates the arrival of Goddess Lakshmi and Lord Kuber for wealth and Lord Dhanvantari for health, marking the start of the Diwali festival. The day is also marked by the ritualistic lighting of lamps to ward off darkness and evil, symbolizing the victory of good over evil and inviting positive energy. Let's listen to this report to understand the history and significance of this day.
Dhanteras marks the beginning of the 5-day Diwali celebration, setting a joyful mood. On this day, devotees worship Lord Dhanvantari, the deity of Ayurveda, and Goddess Lakshmi, the harbinger of wealth and fortune. Dhan means wealth and Teras refers to the 13th day. The day is observed on the 13th lunar day of Krishna Paksha in the Hindu calendar every year. Considered highly auspicious, Dhanteras is a popular day to buy gold, silver, utensils, and even electronics to invite prosperity. People worship Goddess Lakshmi and Lord Kuber, both symbols of wealth. Tradition holds that making significant purchases on this day brings good fortune and blessings in matters of finance and abundance. Lamps are lit to represent light over darkness and to keep away negative energies, including Yama, the god of death. The day is also seen as a time for cleansing homes, hearts, and minds, creating a pure space for the joy and brilliance of Diwali to enter and flourish. A popular tale linked to Dhanteras is the ocean churning, from which Lord Dhanvantari emerged with nectar and Goddess Lakshmi appeared, blessing the world with wealth. Another story speaks of a wise bride who saved her husband's life from a snake bite by placing gold, silver, and lamps at the door, keeping Yama distracted all night with songs and stories. Since then, Dhanteras has been cherished as one of the most blessed days. May this Dhanteras bring you new aspirations, renewed hopes, unexplored paths, and bright beginnings. Wishing you and your loved ones joy, surprises, and everything radiant and wonderful. Happy Dhanteras. Bureau Report, DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended heartfelt wishes to all citizens on the occasion of Dhanteras. He prayed for everyone's happiness, prosperity and good health. Also hoped may Lord Dhanvantari bless the nation with wellness and peace. Assam is celebrating Kati Bihu, also known as Kangli Bihu. It signifies the end of sowing season and the beginning of the harvest period, focusing on prayers for a good yield and symbolizing hope during a time when farmers' granaries are often empty. Key rituals include lighting lamps in fields, homes and in front of the sacred Tulsi plant and engaging in community gatherings. Meanwhile, India's Home Minister Amit Shah in a social media post on X said, and I quote, "On the occasion of Kati Bihu, I pray for the well-being and prosperity of all my sisters and brothers of Assam. May this festival bring happiness and abundance into everyone's lives." And time now for sport. Indian badminton players Satwik-Chirag, Rajnath and Chirag Shetty have advanced to the semi-finals of the Denmark Open badminton tournament in Odense city. Satwik-Chirag marched into their 8th semi-final of the year with a 21-15, 18-21, 21-16 win over Indonesia's pair of Mohammad Ardianto and Rahmat Hidayat. The Indian duo will face Japan's pair Takuro Hoki and Yugo Kobayashi. Satwik-Chirag have the edge in their head-to-head contests, leading 4-1 against the Japanese opponents. Meanwhile, Rajnath Singh has been knocked out of the tournament after losing his quarter-final match. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.